10 Reasons Captain America, Brave New World reviews are so negative. Captain America, Brave New World's reviews have started to pour in, and the first Marvel Cinematic Universe movie of the year is not being met with praise, but a fair share of criticism. Chris Evans' Captain America movies are highly regarded as part of one of the MCU's best trilogies, if not the very best. With Captain America, Brave New World story having been compared to The Winter Soldier's, Evans' best Steve Rogers film, expectations were high. Perhaps that is one of the reasons why so many critics have expressed disappointment with the first of 2025's MCU movies. Captain America, Brave New World holds a measly 49% score by critics on Rotten Tomatoes at the time of writing. That is somewhat unexpected, as the trailers for the MCU movie seem to tease the kind of grounded, more serious thriller fans have been asking for years. While the film does go for that tone, there are many issues that seem to have led to a waste of potential. There is very little fun to be had. The overt seriousness and bleakness saps the movie of any enjoyment we might get from watching a new Captain America movie. Molly Freeman, ScreenRant. One of the biggest complaints surrounding the movie is that it is rather dull and boring. If there is one thing that Marvel Studios films normally aim for, it is that each entry has the appropriate amount of fun. While that has translated into criticism about MCU humor in the past, it seems like Captain America, Brave New World should have mixed things up a little. It feels unnecessary and with no sense of urgency. It feels less like a film than something you make when you can't think of one, but your deadline is looming regardless. Robbie Collin, Daily Telegraph, UK. In the past, MCU movies were treated like unmissable events. However, when the multiverse saga started, Marvel began to churn out quite an elevated number of projects with little breaks between them. That led to the MCU's phase for having nearly the same number of projects as the entirety of the 3 phases that make up the Infinity Saga. That has led to critics questioning how necessary an MCU project is. Within the grander scheme of the multiverse saga, attention has turned to multiverse-related projects like Spider-Man, No Way Home and Disney+'s Loki, both of which are among the franchise's most popular entries in recent years. There is still space for grounded movies like Captain America, Brave New World if they have a solid story to tell. However, critics do not believe that it was a necessary addition to the MCU, with complaints about how Marvel might have rushed to release a troubled project that fails to match the heights of the previous Captain America movies. This reboot is below the standards of what the Russo brothers achieved, particularly in the high-water mark Captain America, The Winter Soldier 10 years ago. Pete Hammond, Deadline. Before Brave New World was even released, there were already thousands of comparisons between Anthony Mackie's Captain America and Chris Evans' Steve Rogers version of Captain America on social media. The two Captain Americas would always be compared, and so Marvel decided to lead that conversation. Mackie and others involved with the film promised that Brave New World was very much in the vein of Evans' Captain America, The Winter Soldier. Sam Wilson feels out of character. The stiff expository dialogue certainly doesn't help, but apart from a few asides about prior Falcon and Winter Soldier characters, this particular version of Sam Wilson is incredibly bland. Aidan Kelly, Collider, Captain America, Brave New World is meant to be Sam Wilson's time to shine in the MCU. Up until this point, save for Disney+'s The Falcon and the Winter Soldier, Anthony Mackie's Marvel character has played a supporting role in the franchise. Throughout Sam Wilson's MCU appearances, the character showed how he is one of the most fun heroes in the MCU. His banter with characters like Steve Rogers, Bucky Barnes, Ant-Man, and more has always been great. According to critics, the new Captain America movie strips Sam Wilson of his characteristic joyous personality for most of the film. If there is one thing that Sam's previous appearances in the franchise have not been, it is bland. However, many critics believe that Mackie's Marvel hero does not bring a lot of his charming persona into the film, which dialogue filled with exposition helps make even duller. The movie's ties to the greater MCU hinder its potential. The possibility for clear and uncomplicated storytelling has been neutralized by the kind of relentless exposition that 34 previous movies and 11 MCU TV shows now, unfortunately, require. Kevin Marr, The Times, UK, one of the biggest complaints the MCU has received from critics and fans alike is that a lot of it feels like homework. The franchise's interconnectedness used to be its strongest suit. However, with so many MCU movies and now even TV shows having been released and countless more in development, the shared universe has gotten to a stage that might feel like too much for some. The movie's many reshoots are easy to tell apart and distract from the plot. Despite the admirable efforts of director Julius Ona and his cast, Captain America: Brave New World shows all the signs of a production that was tampered with almost to the point of self-collapse. Andrew J. Salazar, discussing film.it, is no secret that Captain America: Brave New World has gone through a few rounds of reshoots. While those involved with the film have downplayed how much was changed, with Anthony Mackie calling the reshoots normal and something that happens in every MCU movie, critics have commented on the situation, stating that the reshoots are very easy to tell apart, and it affects the movie negatively. It makes a forgotten MCU movie pretty much required viewing. And yes, this film is as much a sequel to 2018's The Incredible Hulk as it is to the Captain America movies. Viewers are advised at least to read the Wikipedia page for this mostly forgotten franchise entry. Alonso Durald, the film verdict. On the topic of larger connections to other MCU franchises impacting the film negatively, many critics did not enjoy how much Captain America: Brave New World seems to be directly related to The Incredible Hulk. That film was the MCU's lowest grossing entry until recent years, with many characters from it staying away from the franchise until now. According to critics, the new Captain America film does not stand on its own. A criticism found in multiple reviews is that Brave New World feels more like a sequel to The Incredible Hulk than a new Captain America entry. This was one of the main topics of conversation about the movie before its release. It also seems like Tim Blake Nelson's The Leader is used sparingly in the film and ends up making for a weaker villain than expected, which further questions why he was brought back. Exposition plagues what is an uneven script. Entire conversations and characters exist for the sole purpose of dumping exposition onto viewers. Jeremy Mattei, /film, there are too many subplots to follow. As the film explodes into numerous subplots that rapidly move far apart from one another, it necessitates constant leaps between characters and locations that only further disrupt the narrative flow of the proceedings. Jake Cole, Slant Magazine.